Are they serious? Defund the police?
Oh, have I got your attention now? Good.
Except they're not kidding.
I will never stop saying not only do we need to disinvest in police, but we need to completely dismantle the Minneapolis Police Department. The Minneapolis Police Department is rotten to the root. And so when we dismantle it, we get rid of that cancer and we allow for something beautiful to rise. And that reimagining allows us to figure out what public safety looks like for us.
And if not defund it, at least decrease the budget.
I want you to know we will not be increasing our police budget. How can we at this moment? Our city, through our city administrative officer, identified $250 million in cuts so we could invest in jobs, in health, in education, and in healing. And that those dollars need to be focused on our Black community here in Los Angeles.
Like a fella I once knew in El Paso. One day he just took all his clothes off and jumped in a mess of cactus. I asked him the same question, why?
And?
He said it seemed to be a good idea at the time.
Now, all of this, of course, is to justify the fight against institutional, systemic, structural racism, which now has become a mental health issue. I kid you not.
We need to be out there more to actually offer testing, to let the very communities that we have neglected in this crisis know that there is a safe place where they can get testing, it's free, and that we can help to understand how, if you can't socially isolate at home because you live with 5 other people in a 1-bedroom apartment, then that's on us, Nicole. We need to figure out how to facilitate our country from expressing their concerns, their outrage, frankly, and acknowledging that racism is a public health issue just as much as COVID is.
Oh, liberals do hate cops, don't they? Until they need one.
Let me tell you something about this. All these people in here with their rocks and their furs, they get robbed, they get raped. All of a sudden, they're daddy. See, come the wet-ass hour, I'm everybody's daddy.
Riddle me this. What do you call a white cop who mistreats a Black suspect? Racist. What do you call a white cop who mistreats a white suspect? Bad cop. In this case, we're talking about a mentally ill white suspect named Tony Timba, who for several minutes was ridiculed, poked, harassed after he'd already been handcuffed by the cops, and ultimately, the man died. This is going on for several minutes, as I mentioned. I'll just give you a couple. It is hard to watch.
You got any name on them or anything?
Just Tony's the only thing we can get.
Help me! Tony!
Hey, get on the ground.
No, you're gonna kill me.
I'm not gonna kill you.
You're gonna kill me. You're gonna kill me.
All right.
Hey, Tony. Tony.
Relax, man.
No.
Get you some help, Tony. Relax, man. Stay down. Tony.
No!
Tony.
Just keep him down. That's too much.
Stop it.
All right.
Hey, you're okay. You're okay. You're okay.
What's up for me?
Yeah, he was scrumming a little too much.
You all right, bud? You gonna be all right.
Is he acknowledging you more?
He's moving.
Oh, I thought he nodded yes to your question.
Tony.
Tony.
Tony. He's breathing. Tony.
I was making sure he was still breathing.
Yeah.
His nose is buried in there.
I think he's still breathing. He just snorted. Tony.
See, I'm cold. What the
Is he asleep?
He's asleep.
He's snoring, that's what it was.
Yeah, he's asleep.
Is he knocked out or he ain't dead, is he?
Nah, he just moved.
Oh, okay.
I think.
Oh, go freak.
He didn't just die down there, did he?
I don't think he did.
Is he breathing? Hope I didn't kill him.
Yeah, he's not breathing.
He's not breathing?
Nope.
Oh.
Fire. Come.
Nah, he ain't breathing, bro.
We all put on some gloves when he's chest compressions.
He ain't breathing.
So he was fighting and then just gave up.
Hey, I've got his mom on the phone, and she knows all this stuff.
He's dead.
He's what?
He's dead.
Well,
Now meet Kelly Thomas, a Fullerton mentally disabled man who is also white.
I want to warn you, the story that I'm about to share with you is tough. The image you will see is graphic, the event brutal. It has already sparked a public outcry and protests in California. A young man, homeless and schizophrenic, beaten to death, kicked, tasered multiple times, hogtied face down, smashed against concrete, his head slammed with a flashlight. And again, a warning, before we show you this photo, this is what happened to Kelly Thomas. Strangers who watched, helpless, say the violent after effects that you see here happened at the hands of 6 Fullerton, California police officers.
Now, what do you call it when a black cop mistreats a black suspect, appears to have choked a black suspect for several minutes? What do you call that? This took place literally days before the death of George Floyd. This took place in Jackson, Mississippi. Again, hard to watch.
That's what I told you to do. When I said you make me. I said make me. Huh? I said make me, boy. I said make me. I said make me. Huh? Get off me. Get off me. Get off me. I said get off me.
He's shaking, sir.
Ma'am,
He's trying
don't
to
touch
breathe.
me.
He's trying to breathe.
Back up.
He's telling you he can't breathe. He's telling you he can't breathe.
Ma'am, you see my hand? I'm not even choking him. Look where my hands are.
Boy, his face got swollen.
Huh? When I told you to leave, what you do out doing?
And as I mentioned, the national media reaction. And of course, the cops never ever shoot an unarmed white suspect, do they? They only do that with unarmed black suspects. Meet Dylan Noble, 19-year-old unarmed white suspect, Fresno, California.
Let the dog go.
In the US, the Fresno Police Department in California has released body camera footage of the shooting of an unarmed suspect in June. The video shows 19-year-old Dylan Noble ignoring commands to stand still and show his hands before officers discharge their weapons. Fresno's Police Chief Jerry Dyer has defended the release of the footage.
I always know that in decisions that are this critical, you're not going to have everybody that supports it. Not the officers, not the union, perhaps not the family, and maybe not even the community. But I promise you I'll do the right thing in this investigation. I'm asking people to trust me to do that.
That is the late Dylan Noble. And how much media attention did this get? Now, according to the Washington Post, do you have any idea how many unarmed black men were shot and killed by the police in 2019? 9. How many unarmed white men were shot and killed by the police in 2019? 19. Now, what's driving all of this? Well, it fits the agenda of a lot of people. Take the Democrats. The Democrats need to convince black people that they are eternal victims of racism because, after all, we're the party of anti-racism and the Republican Party is a party of pro-racism. For the media, it drives another agenda. It's what Tom Wolfe called in that great book, Bonfire of the Vanities, the Great White Defendant. The Great White Defendant is somebody that everybody can agree is a bad guy. White people, after all, are used to being picked on and called racist, and black people love to see a white person who is, in their opinion, a racist being kicked around and in trouble. So it advances the agenda of a lot of people. It is because of the Tawana Brawley incident that Tom Wolfe did his book, and one of his characters was patterned after Reverend Al Sharpton, except he called him Reverend Bacon.
Brothers and sisters, I stand before you with a heart that is broken. And I stand before you with a heart that is angry. It's heartbroken because our brother, our neighbor, our son, Henry Lamb, has been struck down in the prime of his young life. And now he lies in a hospital. Broken like my heart. But I tell you, my heart is also angry.
So this cops are out to get black people narrative advances the agenda of a lot of people. It does not, however, advance the best interest of the very people in the inner city who are hurt when the police are not there and when the police are not proactive. You know who agrees with me?
The thing for us to remember is that the same crime element that white people are scared of, black people are scared of. The same crime element that white people fear, we fear. So we defend ourselves from the same crime element that they scared of. You know what I'm saying? While they waiting for legislation to pass and everything, we next door to the killer. We next door to him, you know, because we up in the projects where it's 80 in the building. All them killers that they letting out, they right there in that building. But it's better, just because we black, we get along with the killers or something? We get along with the rapists because we black and we from the same hood? What is that? We need protection too.
Thank God for the police, but quite understandably today, they feel under siege.
Never, no matter how bad it gets, apologizing for having a shield in your pocket. You know why? Because of you, I can do what I do. Because of you, I was able to rear my family in this city. Because of you, they can believe and love and pray where they want, with whom they want. Because of you. Never forget it. God bless you. Thank you.
Don't these protesters appreciate the distinction between the arsonist and the firefighter?
Everybody's trying to shame us into being embarrassed about our profession. Well, you know what? This isn't stained by someone in Minneapolis. It's still got a shine on it. And so do theirs. So do theirs. Stop treating us like animals and thugs, and start treating us with some respect. We don't condone Minneapolis. We roundly reject what he did as disgusting. It's disgusting. It's not what we do. It's not what police officers do. Our legislators abandoned us. The press is vilifying us. Well, you know what, guys? I'm proud to be a cop, and I'm going to continue to be proud to be a cop until the day I retire. And that's all I have to say.
I tell you what, without these hardworking, brave men and women in blue, it would come down to this.
Thank you for calling 911. Due to the defunding as a result of the marches against police brutality, there are no officers available to respond to your emergency. At the end of this message, please describe in detail why you are calling, and a member of our team will return your call within 4 to 5 business days. Our services now include social workers, therapists, and mediators. For example, if somebody is robbing your house, we will send out a mediator in 4 to 5 days to kindly ask them to stop. If this is a life-threatening emergency, please hang up and ask your higher being to help you.
Now, don't forget, my documentary, Uncle Tom, comes out on June 19th. Here's one of the trailers.
I don't remember the actual day, but I remember the emotion that I felt when it happened.
I'm often asked, was there an epiphany?
I started asking questions.
As I became more politically aware,
a lot of the way that I saw things began to change.
All of this information I've been taking in for several years.
A continuation of these kind of contradictions.
I had bought into all of these lies.
You begin to see what the real agenda is.
That's usually how that red pilling process begins.
Black America is starting to get it.
People are starting to realize what's going on.
And to see the other trailers, go to UncleTom.com. Remember, coming to a home theater near you on June 19th. I am Larry Elder. We've got a country to save, and I'll see you next time.